Welcome to Rearranging Change, how you market to an ever-changing world. I'm your host, Steve McChesney. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 10. Today, we're continuing with our motivators. So far, we've covered convenience and we've covered sensory appeal. Today, we're going to cover something called hero worship. Now, hero worship is simply anytime you use a celebrity or an author or a person to help sell your product, give your product credibility. Doesn't always have to be a famous person. It could be a local fireman or a policeman, somebody who's done something heroic. It could be just a regular person, a father who's done something for the local children. A teacher can be hero worship. But if you use them in your marketing, you're using what they call hero worship. If Oprah Winfrey recommends a book in her book club, the sales of that book are going to skyrocket simply because Oprah said it's a great book to get. See, that's using hero worship. Wheaties cereal boxes is known for the sports stars that it puts on the cover of its cereal boxes. You know, it pays a lot of money for those athletes to appear on those cereal boxes because guess what? It sells a lot of cereal. It's using what they call hero worship. You know, Nike and Adidas and Reebok are always looking for athletes to endorse their products. Celebrities of all kinds are endorsing commercial products. In fact, recently there was a commercial with Matthew McConaughey selling Lincoln Continentals, again, using hero worship. God, if Matthew likes it, I want to be like Matthew. I want to have it too. Now, are you looking for cookware? You're going to see some celebrity chefs that have their own personal branded products. Rachel Ray, Wolfgang Puck, Emeril Lagasse, they all tout that their cookware is the cookware to get. I'm not really sure if they're using their own cookware, but I don't know for a fact, so I won't say anything about that. But the fact that they're recommending it sells a lot of cookware for their own personal brands. The truth of the matter is that people will buy products because someone they admire says it's a good idea. We trust a hero endorsement. Advertisers know that, so they're going to use it as a motivator to promote a product. So think about that. Think about how you can use some kind of testimonial. If it's from a celebrity, even better, but even somebody that's in the news, something where somebody says your product or your service is going to help them. And if you can use it for somebody, I'll give you an example. Sometimes hero worship can be a little bit, you got to be careful who you choose as your heroes. I know that Hertz at one point had O.J. Simpson as their hero. I don't know if you all remember when O.J. Simpson used to run through the airport, jumping over luggage, trying to get to his plane. It was Hertz Rent-A-Car. So they had to pull those. I know that Bill Cosby used to do Jell-O. Not so much the right hero anymore. I know that there were points where Tiger Woods had some issues, so they had to pull all of his endorsements. So if you fall from grace, those advertisers will quickly back away from you. So be careful who you choose as your hero, but hero worship is a big thing. It's a real thing. If you can use it, you should. It's a great motivator. So that's the lesson for today, hero worship as a motivator. Give me an email, steve@rearrangingchange.com, and we'll be right back with our pal, Ron Seggi. My friends, I'd like to offer you a free copy of my international best-selling book, Rearranging Change, How You Market to an Ever-Changing World. Just simply go to rearrangingchange.com. That's rearrangingchange.com. Rearrangingchange.com. I will pay for your book. You simply pay for the shipping and handling. Once again, a little gift from me, Rearranging Change, How You Market to an Ever-Changing World. Go to my website, rearrangingchange.com, and get your free copy today. Welcome back, everybody. As always, we go to our friend Ron Seggi. Hello, Ron.
Hey, Steve. Good to be back, my friend.
Nice to see you. Who do you got for us this week?
Well, we have a twofer this week, okay? We have a gentleman that I've known for a long time, one of the nicest guys you will ever find in or out of this business, the Fawn, hey, Henry Winkler, and then a gentleman that I had never met prior to this interview. I've always liked him, though. He's just a cool guy. I liked him on Boston Legal. He's just a cool guy, and that's William Shatner. And Bill is an individual that falls into what you were talking about earlier about hero worshiping, okay? Because he's been a spokesperson for Priceline. He's a spokesperson for a sleep apnea cleaning machine
Yeah.
because he has credibility. These people
Yeah.
have credibility.
Great example of hero worship being used right there.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
And Henry Winkler, we'll talk about this after you hear the interview, but I got to tell you, he's one of the sweetest guys in the world.
well, I got
Unbelievable.
to share two stories with you because I have my close encounter to both of those gentlemen in different ways.
Would that be a close encounter of a third kind with Shatner?
Yeah, so there you go. That's not bad. Close, different movie. But I happen to be a crew member on the Enterprise in Star Trek VI.
Really?
Yeah, and back in my Hollywood days, I would have paid them for that job, but luckily they paid me. But yep, I was a crew member on the Enterprise. Now, the reason that that's so important is because Star Trek VI was the last movie with the original cast of Star Trek.
Wow.
So I got to meet Bill Shatner there. Of course,
did you have to wear that jersey top and stuff?
I did, and they cut
Really?
my sideburns were like pointed. They had to cut those and the whole
You
nine
mean like
yards.
this?
Yeah, kind of like yours.
Okay.
And so with Henry Winkler, I happened to walk the picket line with him for the Screen Actors Guild strike. And I think that was like 1980 or 1981. I forget the exact date, but it was in the early 80s. But he happened to be the guy that I got to hold picket signs with, and we sat and talked as we walked in circles for a long time.
Darned.
And
Well,
what a
then you
great
know
guy
what
he
they're
was
like.
then, too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. You should get a clip of that Star Trek episode and play it on their podcast.
Maybe I will. I've got it someplace. I'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
But
have
that was
lines?
kind of fun. Huh?
Did you have lines?
You know what? I worked on Star Trek VI for about 2.5 weeks, and everything got cut out except for one scene of me going to the side of a hallway in the Enterprise and pulling a panel off as I'm looking for Spock's boots. That was it. Yeah. Hello. I get you now. Hey, guys, let's listen to the interview.
Okay.
We are back live all across the USA and around the world. You're listening to Ron Seggi today. Well, joining us on the show are two real legends. I can't even run down all the things that they do because we'd be here till Valentine's Day. But I will tell you one thing. One of them has been a friend of ours for many, many, many years, and the other one is someone that I hope is going to be a friend of mine for many, many, many years. They're back with another season of a show that I absolutely love. Better late than never. Joining us right now, Henry Winkler and William Shatner. Henry, William, welcome to the show.
Well,
Thanks,
thank
Ron.
you so much. Good to see you and get to know you. And Orlando is one of my favorite towns. I've got friends there. I just came back from there. I made an appearance there.
I like the amusement park.
Yeah.
And I went bass fishing in Orlando. The water boy in Orlando.
You know what? I know who you went bass fishing with. You went with Bobby Bear, this country
Yes,
singer.
I did.
Yeah, he was on my show, and he told me that.
Unbelievable.
Where did you bass?
We went for like 3 hours at 2 o'clock in the morning. We drove for 3 hours down Florida to this big lake, and we had breakfast at his house, at Bobby's house first, and then we went back.
I don't want to fish.
No, I don't
Not
either.
much.
But he did tell me that he would cook breakfast for me when I go down there, and so that's
And you
why.
know what?
Did
It's
you fry up
delicious.
some fish?
Yeah, no, scrambled eggs, bacon,
fish.
and toast.
Ooh,
No fish?
No fish. You
That's
catch the
ridiculous.
fish.
that's right. Hey guys, I got to tell you something.
Yes.
There are very few times that I am saddened when a show ends a season, but I got to tell you this. All right. I love the show. I genuinely laughing like crazy. And the other day I was at a party and I mentioned the fact that you were both going to be on the show, and they said, "We love that show.
Well-
that really works."
Well, if you love that show, you're gonna love this next Monday. It's on NBC, of course, 9 o'clock, right?
But this Monday we start in Munich. They have
Slice a
pretzel.
A pretzel. Butter it.
butter it for breakfast.
Put mustard on it.
No.
No
That's
mustard on it?
that's for the afternoon. I'm telling you, you cut these big pretzels in half, you butter it, and you have them for breakfast. Amazing. I dream about these pretzels.
On pretzels. I try to give him flat bread, the good nut bread. No.
No.
It has to be a
But
twisted
in
pretzel.
Munich, we went to the highest point, the Zugspitze. That was the highest point in all of Germany. And we saw like 4 countries at once.
Wow.
The height of the
And ran
drought.
up the hill and sang.
You ran up the hill.
Charged up the hill.
Charged up the
Singing,
hill.
The hills are alive.
I crawled up the hill.
Both of you did one heck of a job. I don't know, it was in China or Japan, climbing up a bunch of steps, but George...
Oh, that was Bill. He
George-
ran up the stairs
Yeah.
so that we could see Mount Fuji.
Yeah, that's it. But you know what? George Foreman, he couldn't make it.
Little me pulled gigantic George
Right.
up those steps.
George is on a vegetarian diet.
Yes, he is.
I mean, it's so disciplined without cheese and without.
Yeah. He's changed hat sizes.
But it's true.
Yeah.
He went from a 6.5 to he's lacking the juices that a good diet bring you.
Sure.
And he couldn't box around now.
No.
I went in the ring with him.
But now he's a pastor. He's a preacher.
Right, but he knocked me out.
He did.
Well, you know, one of the things that really busted me up last year was when you guys were sleeping in these little containers. I don't know if it was in Japan or
that
China.
was in Tokyo.
Oh, Tokyo. That was unbelievable. But are you really going to go into a bull ring as a matador in Madrid?
We did, yes.
Did you really?
Yes, with a real matador.
We fought the bulls, and we jousted. We won. Well, we didn't win that much. I mean, we didn't.
I was. You know what? I was born to be a matador.
You were with that sweater on. You could attract.
I didn't know it, and also in Spain, I pushed the envelope of my entire life. Honestly, I was the model for an art class. You guys had a pound of clay, and you had to make a sculpture of me.
That's right. Henry provided us with a great deal of amusement when he appeared naked.
That's what I was going to ask you. It was a nude model.
He was a nude model.
This got to be a very intensive production. I mean, by the time you take the trip, which is long in itself, and then you produce it, and you film it, and you edit it. I mean, this isn't like doing Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
I'll tell you why. We're gone for 40 days.
Right.
We have 5 cameras. We have no script. And we have no idea where the adventure is going to be. So when we see it for the first time, when you see us see it, we really are living it in the moment.
It's arduous. It's great fun.
Great fun.
But a lot of work.
It's like a gift.
It is.
The show is like a gift.
Because NBC provided us with this vacation that was a working vacation. But when we go on a vacation, we have to buy the tickets, we got to get the thing,
Sure.
do we make the airplane with? They took care of everything.
Everything.
We just ushered on and had fun.
It was great.
Now, did you both ride camels in the Sahara Desert?
We all rode camels.
This is what I did. I felt so bad for my camel, I took him to my orthodontist. Because I want to tell you something, that those teeth were like, I don't know, they were pointing in every, they're like the sign, Rome, 3,000 miles, New York, 4,000 miles, it was like that. The teeth were like...
I ride a lot of horses, and you got a horse with the ring.
You just won a championship.
I just won a championship.
Oh,
but with those camels, if you want them to turn to the left, you pull on the left rein, and instead of turning, the head comes around.
Spits at you.
Now, why is it that Terry Bradshaw, George Foreman, the athletes, don't have as much energy and expertise as you two guys do?
We never were athletes. They are ex-athletes.
We've saved all our energy for the
Their
trip.
knees hurt. Their backs hurt. They got all these excuses.
Right.
I think Terry had 4 surgeries in between the last trip and this trip.
Now, what about some guest stars? I understand David Hasselhoff and Al Roker. What's Al going to do? Jeez.
Oh, my God. You know what? We were in Berlin. We were at the Brandenburg Gate. And all of a sudden, in the corner of the square, Al Roker, wearing the same color pants I had.
Lederhosen. Al Roker came on our show. He was very amusing. All he did was point to the sky and say, "It's raining."
It's raining. It's a big jump.
And it was. It wasn't a forecast. It was a cast.
Yeah, it was a cast of the reality. But he's very funny. And it was just like...
He is funny.
You know what is amazing? We were together. We are together. There are 5 of us. But to see somebody from home like that, it feels good.
Sure it does. Sure, absolutely. Now, I know you guys weren't really close before this happened. I know you've kind of bonded. But did you ever get sick? Because you have eaten some very bizarre things. I mean, I was laughing like crazy because...
We did eat some.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but no, I don't. And we never got sick.
You never got sick?
No. What did we eat? Well, in Asia, we ate... Oh, no. Bill and George ate this
Fermented.
delicacy, this fermented.
Go ahead, say what it is, because we talked about it before, Henry.
Well, fermented herring comes in a can, and the fermentation is taking place in the can, so the can expands. As you know, bad stuff in a can, well, and that's why you don't eat it. You throw that can out. In this case, you open it and eat it.
And you know what? You open it underwater because it smells so bad that Terry Bradshaw got up from the table and nearly lost his cookie.
Well, he ran, and I chased him with a fermented herring.
Oh, that's so funny.
And as he said later, the worst thing that ever happened to him is that I ran him down and tackled him.
Sure, his ego was busted.
I think we are on until February 5th or 6th or something like that. We have made many more episodes this year than we did last.
Great. Henry, it's always great talking with you. You know how I feel about
What
you.
am I, chopped liver?
No, wait a minute. I'm getting to you, William.
Yeah.
And I am so ecstatic that finally, after some 30 years, you've been on our show, so I hope you come back too, Bill.
See?
I've been to Orlando many times.
No, he wants you back on the show.
I know. I want to come back on the show.
Okay, well, then when you're down here in Orlando, let's break bread together and we'll talk.
At Christini's.
No.
At Christini's.
Not break bread. We have to break a pretzel together.
Last time I was at Christini's, the guy said to me, Henry Winkler was in here last week. So he's using you as part of the menu. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And I will be watching, and join us again. We love both of you. Thank you, Henry. Thanks, Bill.
Bye.
Henry Winkler and William Shatner.
You know, Ron, also, both these gentlemen have something in common. They're both actors.
Mhm.
They're both directors.
Mhm.
They're both producers.
Mhm.
And they're both authors.
All right, one more. They're both loaded.
Yes, they are. Well, you know, Henry Winkler in particular, I don't know if you know this, but when he was young, he had dyslexia.
Yes, he did.
It went undiagnosed, but
Right.
later on in life, he ended up writing a book for children about dyslexia.
Yeah, he's been on my show several times. We talked about that. His father was in the lumber business, and his father wanted him to be. His father was an immigrant, and his father wanted him to go in the lumber business. And we always talked about that because my family, my mother, father, and two brothers, were the home improvement business.
That's right.
And my
Right.
father always wanted me to go in the home improvements business, and I was always in broadcasting and show business. And so Henry and I had a little bit of empathy with one another. But you know, first time I met him, it was at a film festival here in Florida. And we took a picture and it was nice, but he was going, hey, and I was going, hey, and it looked like we were both, alcoholics. It was terrible. So he promised he was going to come over to my office on another trip from Hollywood to Orlando to do, I think I was doing Waterboy or something at the time at Universal.
Right.
And he says, I'll stop by and see you. And I thought to myself, well, I'll never see him again, right? I left the office for about an hour to go someplace, came back, and there was a little note on my door, and it said, Ronnie, he said, I was here to take a picture with you. I'll try and stop back a little bit later. I'm running on a very tight schedule. Henry Winkler.
Nice.
I kept that note because you know what? That's the sign of a sincere guy.
That is.
He was not, with all the popularity that he had, and you knew him.
Yep.
He did not believe his press releases. He is just as humble today as when he was a little boy and his father wanted to be in the lumber business.
Right. Well, you know, and as all of you at home listening know as well, that some of these interviews, well, a lot of these interviews took place in the past. They're not exactly current, because when this interview happened with Henry Winkler and William Shatner, their show was on their second season. By the way, what a great show. Love that show. I don't know if they plan on doing another season, but I'll tell you what, if they do, I'll be a viewer.
Let me tell you, I love that show so much. You have to take in consideration, though, it was a very difficult, even though it wasn't scripted, it was a very difficult show. First of all, you had 4 or 5 guys that, were aging quickly,
Yep.
number one. Number two, they had to be there for an extended period of time. Bill said, and I think he said in an interview, he thought he was going to go there and come back, but they had to be there for a long time. And they had some pretty rough things that they had to do. And one of the guys that couldn't do them was George Foreman, who was probably in better shape than all of them put together.
Right.
But what a great show. I would laugh like crazy. I'd watch it over and over and over again, the same episode.
I could too. And I tell you, business-wise,
Oh, the calls are coming in again. I'll tell you something.
Henry
We
Winkler.
have one heck of a, every time we do your show, we get calls just popping in like crazy. I tell you, I can't believe it. Putin hasn't called me yet, but the main line is going crazy.
Well, I think that if Henry Winkler was smart, well, he is smart. I should take that back. Not if, but he is smart. Take that back, Henry. I didn't
Glad you corrected yourself.
Yeah. But one of the things that he might think about doing is continuing on that show. It doesn't have to be them.
Right.
4 other aging actors that are well known and send them off on a journey and just executive
since you had so much experience on Star Trek and you're an aging individual, you'd be perfect for that. But when you think about it, when you take William Shatner,
right,
Henry Winkler, and
George Foreman, Terry Bradshaw,
right? You got to bring Terry Bradshaw because he's a trip. You know,
it's funny.
He's a trip. But you're right about that. That would be a good thing to do.
It's a smart idea. Just get 4 other aging actors that are well known and send them off to the Fiji or something like Survivor.
That could be a lot like Dancing with the Stars, where each season you have 4 new people.
There you go. Traveling with the Stars.
Yeah, traveling with the stars. Hey, wait a minute. Let me write that down.
Get on the phone. Listen, Ron,
Get me the coast. I want to talk about traveling with the stars.
Okay, thank you, my friend. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Steve.
And folks, that's it for this episode. If you have any questions or you know anybody that wants to produce the new Traveling with the Stars show that my friend Ron and I are going to be producing, let me know. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on Rearranging Change. Make sure to visit my website, stevemcchesney.com. Sign up for my newsletter. We'll be talking soon.